Hi, good evening, everybody. You can hear me well at the back. And my name is Patrick Chun. I'm here to talk about what university would want to see from incoming students. And with me, I have my colleague here, Kitty Wong. She's an etiquette trainer as well as an accomplished English teacher. So we're going to be doing this together so that I'll be talking as to what university want from you or your kids. And Ms. Wong is going to talk about what kind of training your kids can probably do so that when they go into university, they would have an easier time now. So Kitty, myself, and we're going to talk about a few things here that your kids going to university would need to have. First thing is the introduction, what we're here for. What university try to achieve? What are they trying to ask of your kids from grade 12 going into university? And number 3, how can students prepare? That would be Miss Kitty Wong. She'll be talking a little about that. This time, not like the first time, due to a lot of requests, we're actually doing a little bit of a demonstration as to what are we talking about? What are soft skills? You may not have heard of that term before. So we want to have a little bit of fun. Everybody will see what's going on. We're going to shake hands with everybody so you know how good your handshake is. And so step 4 will be, what's the first step you need to take? After that, question and answer. Any kind of questions and answer. Last time, there were a lot of questions, but unfortunately, we were not able to answer most of them. I've since talked to UBC and so on. They said, yes, you can say a little bit more about what is needed and so on. So it's not like universities don't want you to know. It's just that they don't want people to having ways of taking the entrance in a tactical manner. They want everybody to have a strategy, not a tactics of how to write the essay, for example. And so those are the kind of concerns universities have. Introduction. This is the old way. This is the existing way for most of us. It's all about books and books and more books. Physics, chemistry, biology, English. This is the new way. The books are still there. They call that the hard skill. And so you see the blank over here? That's where I'm going to add as to what is the new element that you need. The hard skill and the soft skill. This is the new model. And it's a mix of hard and soft. So if everybody is more familiar with the physics, the chemistry, the Latin, and so on, you are right at home, but it's only half of the game now. You also need to have the other half. So what are universities trying to achieve? What are they trying to ask of our kids nowadays? It's a balance of skills that they want. The hard skills, like I said before, the physics, the chemistry, and so on, that's half of what is on the balance. And then they want the soft skills, the other half, so that to make the person more rounded, if you may. What are soft skills? I don't know. I talked to a lot of parents. A lot of parents don't know what soft skill is. And it took me many years to figure out what soft skills really are. This is the hard part. This is the part that a lot of us are not prepared to say, they're important. Communication. How do you talk to your friends? How do you talk to your prof? How do you talk to your teacher? Respect. How do you respect others? How do you show you have respect? That is not easy. You may think, yeah, I really respect that person, but does it come across as you being respectful of that person? That is not easy sometimes. Confidence. How do you show confidence? Are you being arrogant instead of confidence? People get them mixed up sometimes. So how do you actually do that? Manners. What kind of manners do we have? Do you actually pay 100% attention to somebody when you talk to that person? That becomes an issue. Sometimes you don't know that. You don't even know that you're not having good manners. Appearance. How do you dress? If I come here today in swimming trunks, would you respect me as much? Would you want to listen to me? Probably not, because I'm not dressed appropriately for that occasion. Personal hygiene, well, that goes without saying, but you'd be surprised. Self-respect, do you respect yourself? How do you respect yourself? Self-awareness, this is the real hard one. How are you going to be aware of your limitation, for example, and your potential? How do you have a circle of influence where your friends are being influenced by you? And are you aware of that? Those are all kinds of things that as you go on to university want to have a good sense that you know what self-awareness is, for example. So these are all the major topics that university will want to know about you. And they have found out ways of finding out too. So it's not in a written exam, but there are ways. And I'm very fortunate to be one of them, helping them define what we can do in the future. So, is soft skills really that important? You know, it's kind of, it's not like physics, it's not like calculus, you know, dy over dx, you know what that is. But how do you actually define something like that? It's not easy. An example. Who are these people? Who is this gentleman here? We all know. President Obama, President of the United States. And perhaps a little less well known, who is this gentleman? And who is this lady here? Japan, the Emperor of Japan. And this is the Prime Minister, the latest Prime Minister, I should say. They have been changing quite a few. Obama was in Japan. Now, it's all good. Except, what do you think? Obama and the Emperor of Japan. Is this good or bad? Just looking at this picture. How many say it's bad? 2. So everybody think it's good? Oh, you guys are in trouble now. Obama was bowing too deeply. You should never bow like this when you are the President of the United States. You should never do that. He's bowing too deeply to the Japanese emperor. He is acting like a servant. Instead of being equal, country to country, nation to nation, USA to Japan, he is putting USA below Japan. It's not a good thing. It's not appropriate. He's trying to show humility, but he's showing something else. And it's not good for either country. So it's an embarrassment. What happens when there's embarrassment? You have people drawing cartoons making fun of it. You know, he's looking out for his approval rating and all that kind of thing. So this is the repercussion. This is the result, the consequence of doing something inappropriate in a very big way. A little move, a little gesture, a simple bow can cause a lot of issues. And a lot of money is involved, something like this. So, is soft skills important? Yes, very important. How do university test soft skills? How are they going to test your kid when they're going to go into UBC? This is one way. Admission interviews. Now, don't be too worried. UBC is not doing it across the board yet. Somebody like myself, somebody like your kid. We could be sitting in a big hall and the grade 12 student will be going through interviews. I'll be asking your kid, what is your name? What would you like to do? What is your hobby? What have you learned so far in your 18 years of life? Why is a manhole round? You thought about that? Those are the kind of questions that university can ask you. Just like what Microsoft can ask a new computer programmer, why is a manhole round? There are 1,000 questions they can ask you. You cannot be prepared for it. And people can come up with new questions all the time. I can come up with a few just standing here thinking about it. So you cannot be prepared for something like that. But what you can be prepared of is your core, your self-awareness. Those are the kind of qualities that are very difficult to develop. It's not like a geometry or an algebra class where you can take 3 months, done. You aced it. You fail, you take again. This is something that is going to take years to develop. And so the earlier you can prepare, the better you'll be. This is one way. Admission interview is one way. There's another way. Self-introduction. When it's your turn, out of all the students, you have to stand in front here and talk to a mic. And the audience are people like myself who are going to judge you as to whether you're worthy or not to go into a university. That's a sad fact of life, is you are being competitive with all the other people as to how confident you are, how you stand in front, the way how you dress, the way how you act. That's all going to be important, and the way how you speak. You have to worry about how many earrings you're going to wear, because that's going to be judged too. Universities now that use admission interviews, some of the examples. In the UK, Cambridge, Oxford. In the US, Princeton, Johns Hopkins University, Stanford University. Just a few examples so you know that there are universities who have done this many years already. UBC is not across the board, so don't worry, it's not across the board yet. But if you want to go to medicine at UBC, you'll be interviewed. McGill University, same thing. What else is soft skills useful for besides going to university? You say, well, you know, this is only one university entrance. Maybe I'll skim it. I'll bypass it. A lot of young people now, they have to volunteer. I think it's part of the requirement now, at least in British Columbia. Some hours of volunteering work is also being very competitive. You don't get the cushy volunteering work by just showing up. There's a whole line of people waiting to get into those volunteering positions. So that is also competitive. You also have to fight for it. You want your kid to have a good future, it starts with volunteering work as well. My first summer job determined my second summer job. My second summer job determined my third summer job. My third summer job determined what I get after I finish university. Because I have very good summer jobs, my first job was a very good job. I went to Montreal working for an aircraft company as an engineer. So everything starts very, very early. And so you want to make sure, even if it is your volunteering work, you get the best out of it. So job interview is one. Group projects. You go to universities now, even in high school, there are a lot of projects that you're not doing it alone. You're doing it with a team of other students. How do you get along with those students? It has been shown people who can get along and do projects together, they communicate well, they get better results on the projects because there's communication. It's not, well, you do this, I'll do that, and then afterwards you put everything together. Well, what if it doesn't fit? That's the hard part, is integration of different parts. That becomes an issue. Is it because of technical issues? No, a lot of time is personality, it is communication skills. People send you an email, well, at least you say, yes, I receive it, okay, thank you. Very little things, but a lot of people don't realize that is important. So little things become big things. And how do you train kids to have attention on those little things? Those are the important things. I have also done some research with a group that I'm volunteering with. They have done extensive research as to income of people from 30 years old, all the way till they're 60 years old. Normally it goes up for most people. And some people who get these kind of so-called soft skill training, people skill training, when they are 30, right there, they start off the same, and then they have better income. They get a better job, they get a better promotion. But look at this. They start when they're 20. It's a different ballgame. They start training when they're 20 years old. When they're 30, they don't start off the same way. They get completely different jobs. They get jobs that can take you to different countries, multinational companies, consulting firms. And so they start off higher already. And when they're 60, they're way above people who have no idea what emotional quotient is. How do you deal with your own emotion? How do you deal with treating people with respect and being able to show it? That's the hard part. How do you show it? Look at this even further. People who got trained as a young kid, 10 years old, 7 years old, they are molded. They are easily moldable. They start off way above everybody else, and then they finish way above. They become CEO of companies, executives, politicians, statesmen, running nonprofit organizations. Those are the kind of people that gets to the very top. They may not actually be the best students. They're not the 4.0 usually. They're usually the B or C students. So there's a saying, the A student end up working for the C students. And it happens. It's not the C students doesn't know it. It's that they spend time on other things. They realize it's important too. It's not just the books. So do you want to be an A student or the C students? You only have so much time in a day. You can spend 9 hours studying your math, or 4 hours studying your math, and 5 hours talking to people, learn about people. Those are the kind of things that you have to think about as a parent. Another study, in school, people who have low GPA, grade point average, they find that they usually have low soft skills, low EQs, high IQ sometimes, low EQs. Oops, sorry. And people who have something like 80% GPA, those people usually come up measuring with high soft skills levels. So So those are some of the findings we have done. And how do students prepare for something like this? It's so nebulous, it's so vague, you know, it's confidence, manners, and this and that and that. Is there a course or something like that? Yes, there are people out there who have been helping people for a long time. It's just that this is something that is usually under the radar. Until now, universities are waking up and say, wait a minute, you know, kids who are coming into university, they're getting out and they're not getting jobs. And what are human resource people from big companies telling you? They're saying that these kids are not employable. Your kids are not worthy to come into my company and represent my company because they just don't have that soft skills. They go into interviews and they start texting. And you can't do that in the business world. People don't accept behavior like that. Unfortunately, that has been falling through the cracks. Kids don't get it. And so that becomes a big issue. I'm going to ask Ms. Wong to come out and talk a little bit about as to some of the trainings, ongoing things that we have been doing so that kids can become better prepared. They're more aware as to what they need. So they come out ahead, hopefully.
Thank you, Patrick. I'm sure I was a C student, okay? So, okay, what soft skill do we start with? Well, very basically, we need to learn how to do a very simple handshake. Because when you meet the administrator at the university or even an interview or just a voluntary work, you need to introduce yourself and a very basic handshake. And later on in the section, we will learn how to do a proper handshake. Mixing and introducing yourself. When you go into a strange, or not strange, or a function or a party, and you are all by yourself, there are strangers, or may not be anyone that you know of, and how are you going to mix with them? How are you going to introduce yourself confidently? Or when people ask you a question, you're going to say, what? A lot of time, high school students, they always say what because their peer will say what. It needs a lot of courage for them to stand out and say, sorry, I didn't hear your question. Can you say that again, please? That particular word, the magic word, please, or thank you. Nowadays, they don't do that because their peers are in that level. It's pretty hard for them to stand out. When they're standing out, they look weird. But the thing is, for them to have that confidence and have that courage is from all the parents that are sitting here, and as well as others, parents for sure, to praise them for their courage, for their confidence, to be a little different from their peers. So how are we going to test them? We have Mr. Chun here, Patrick. He is also a member of this organization. It's called IITTI. It's International Image Training and Testing. It's a test very similar to, if you heard of IELTS, TOEFL, or SAT, those are the university entrance examinations or testing that university require. Very similar. IITTI is very similar to that, those tests. So what is it? It tests your social survival skills. Yet on the other side, IELTS, TOEFL, and SAT, they test your academics. And are there people doing it right now, students doing it right now? Yes, we do have. A very famous prestige university in Singapore, Nanyang Technological University, they are testing students. Right now, we have 3,500, I believe, students being tested. And lo and behold, not all of them passed. And some of them, they really need to be tested again later on. With the soft skill, of course, we already talked about courage, self-awareness, confidence when they go out, when students go out, and definitely they will have functions or parties. How do they distinguish themselves being confident? They have the courage. They have the knowledge of Western etiquette. So we have here 2 sets, and we also have 10 questions for you.
When Ms. Wong is passing that out, I just want to put in an aside here. You say, well, you know, how the soft skills, confidence, and going for interviews like that related to dining. You'll be surprised, actually, some of the things universities and employers are thinking. Employers have been doing that for a long time, and that is they take you out to lunch. And by going to lunch, they can see a lot about your personality and so on. I've been taken out to lunch a few times, and it's not what you think. It's not just, it's not a lunch. It's an exam. Universities, when it comes time to finding the right chair for the faculty and so on, they're usually taken out to lunch. And when they want to pick graduate students for certain important research, they may take you out to lunch too. So just because that UBC or other universities are not doing it now, when your kid is ready to go to university, things could change. Things could change very quickly.
Okay, first of all, when you sit down, obviously you have a napkin. So in your questionnaire, so you want to make sure, like, is Kitty doing it correctly or Patrick is doing it correctly? So you make a check, okay? Number 2, you have your bun, your dinner roll, okay? So what I'm going to do is, so usually after dinner roll, then you have your soup, right? When your soup is towards the end, low level, so I'm going to go. Is it Patrick or Kitty?
Ms. Wong, would you mind passing me the salt, please? Would you mind passing me the pepper?
Patrick, would you like to pass me the salt, please?
The what?
Salt.
Salt. Oh, there you go.
Thank you. When we finish our dish, don't start any argument, okay? I'm not having any arguments here. Here. When I finish my dish. Now when I finish my meal, I'm going to fold my napkin and I'm going to put it right there. That's pretty obvious. I'm going to use the same fork for my dessert. The same fork for my dessert.
I'm going to use the little fork.
When I finish stirring my sugar in my coffee, I put it on the saucer.
I put it in my cup.
Now going back to the napkins again, if I want to tell the waiter that I will be back, I'm just going to the ladies' room, just powder myself up. Okay, I will be back. But the thing is, I place it, Kitty, this is Kitty. Thank you. I place it on the chair. And yet,
I'll take it with me to the washroom.
I've forgotten to put on my lipstick in the washroom. So I just pretend that I have a lipstick in my hand. So I go. Okay.
I'll go to the powder room to put on my lipsticks.
All right, so 10 questions already, right? Okay. So Patrick and I going to demonstrate a very simple handshake as I promised, when we show you the slide. Oops. Hi, Patrick.
Hi.
Haven't seen you for quite some time.
Hi. Hi.
What are we doing wrong? Sticking too long? And what did he do wrong?
Hi. Hi.
Okay. What's the proper handshake? Do you know what this is called? Your web, right? It's supposed to be web to web. There you go. Am I supposed to be that far away just in case he's going to attack me? No, I'm going to be standing like this, right? Go. Hi, my name is Kitty. Nice meeting you.
Hi, I'm Patrick. Nice to meet you too.
Now, 1, 2, 3. 3 pumps, and you let go. Otherwise, he's going to get a different idea. Okay? All right? Number 1, what was it? What did he put? The napkin, right? Where? Here. Is that good? No, what is it supposed to be? I put it on my lap, but that's a proper way. Do you know? The folded side supposed to be on your lap. I mean, over here. And then the opened is out. Okay, so when you want to just do a little dip. Okay? Okay, there you go. The second question. I was eating the bun, right? Oh, I was really hungry. I was like gobbling it down. And Patrick, he took it out in pieces. So who was correct?
Patrick.
All right.
Yes.
The third question. What is it? Sorry?
Soup.
The soup. What I did was, that actually pretty obvious. So it's facing me, tilted a little bit, and I was going like this, very politely. Yeah, and then what did Patrick do? But in Japan, you're supposed to slurp as loud as you can because the hostess need to hear it. So she would know that her cooking is very good. So it's totally different. Okay, if you do it like I did, she's not going to be very happy about her cooking. So it's going to be having a very sad face. So it's different culture, different thing.
In Japan, you have to.
I mean, I didn't get when I go to Japan.
That's right. Different country has actually. Yes. Okay. Next question. Passing the salt. Okay. Patrick asked me, "Can I pass the salt to him?" Salt, and then he asked me again for pepper.
Yeah.
And when I asked Patrick, he gave me both. I only asked for the salt, but he gave me both. Who was right?
Patrick.
Because those two, they are supposed to be married. Always. At all times. Doesn't matter if I say, can you pass me the pepper or salt? They always come together. The next one was with the, I believe with a knife and fork. When I finished my dish, I had it crossed. And Patrick had it together. And which one was correct? Patrick. And then just one reminder, the sharp part of the knife need to face in, all right, rather than facing outside. Okay? So far, so good? Learning anyone? Anyone is learning here? Or they all, okay. Next one. I remember was it the spoon?
Dessert fork.
The dessert fork. So I used the same fork for my main dish rather than the small one. So Patrick was right again, right? Okay, the next one was the teaspoon. Teaspoon, okay? Where did I put it? On the saucer. And Patrick, lovely. Lots of time, it's a habit. The spoon would be placed in the tea or with the coffee, okay, inside rather than on the saucer. So it's actually no. Okay. So is Patrick's failing right now? Was the last one? When I wanted to go to the ladies' room, okay. So I will be back. So I place my napkin on the chair.
All right. You need to take it to wash.
to splash water on your face.
Yeah,
right?
just to dry your hands and so on.
Okay. Okay, forgot my lipstick, so I did it right at the table. Was I right?
No.
No, never. No. Okay. Some might tempt to go. Okay. Okay. So, who had? Well, who? 100% correct. Really?
Wow.
Really? Wow! Congratulations. So the Miss Patrick will give you a present. Nobody over there on that side? Seriously?
Yeah, we got the salt.
What have you learned? The salt?
The salt.
Yeah.
They're together all
They're married.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, thank you, Ms. Wong. A lot of time it's very little minor things to us, it seems. But you'd be surprised how many CEOs and how many managers actually get training like that. Companies spend a lot of money and time to train the employees so that when they go out and meet international clients, for example, they come across as somebody that is polished, come across somebody who is comfortable with different people. I don't know about you, that doesn't come up to me very naturally. That is a trained skill after many years of corporate world and conferences and so on, that you develop that kind of habit. And so what Ms. Wong is trying to demonstrate to everybody is that unless you have training in that, just like playing tennis or playing golf, you may know how to play tennis, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be a good tennis player. You really need to have a continuous training, like playing piano, playing golf. That is the kind of environment you need to put yourself into. The last part, I'm going to talk a little bit more. What's the first step? Actually, this is going to be the last part of what I'm going to be talking about. This is the second part of the series. Last time we've done it, it was at the Richmond School Board. And a lot of parents come back to me afterwards and say, this is not good. You know, you tell us what we don't need or what we don't have, but you don't say, how do we fulfill that need? How do we actually have trainings and so on? So I've talked to Ms. Wong about that, and she has been very grateful in that she's going to offer a 1-hour introductory training kind of talk to some of our kids here, and so that kids can have a better idea as to, oh, this is something I need, and so on. And we have prepared a sign-up sheet so that if you want, you can sign up. And it's going to be at a church in Richmond, so that it's going to be convenient for everybody. And hope that little by little, our kids in Richmond, at least, can have this kind of training and understanding as to what is really needed. So the sign-up sheet is here. take it and you can tear it apart. So half of it you can bring home so you remember, and the other half you can give it to Miss Wong and go from there.
The two got perfect marks.
The two got perfect marks. They will be coming in for free because they are so good already. So. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wong.